Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
Hey everyone, this is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor for the NXT review on January 10th. And that's right, it is the last time I believe we're going to have to use any holiday reference. This is the last one for NXT, man. It's a New Year's Evil. And it's going to be highlighted by a 20-woman battle royal. And they go straight into a Chase U promo with everybody in the classroom, and they're just kind of doing a recap of everything, and he gets to holler at a few people and throw someone out. It's okay. They're leading up to Thea Hale being in that, and that's the way they in that little spot. But they go from there to Tony D and Dijak, and of course Tony D's got Stacks with them, and they're doing a big build-up of Dijak, man, because they got the entrance and they've got everything going on for him. But tell you what they got going on for Tony D. They got the jumpsuits, man. His jumpsuit is cool, and so is Stacks. They look like something that you would get at a convenience store, a nice convenience store, I might add. But like they're a copy of something famous, and I guess they've got this something famous on them, I guess. And anyway, the match itself is a good match. Tony gets in there and just starts throwing down and going to town, and Dijak, of course, is going to come back and kind of take control of the match. And at one point in time, he yanks out handcuffs and just starts whooping the crap out of Stacks. Just Tony D's down for a minute. He's banged his head or something, and he just whoops the crap out of Stacks. And it's because just before that, Stacks used himself as a human sacrifice when he's going to be spearing Tony D, and Stacks jumps in and takes the spear. And Tony D gets the upper hand for a while, then Dijak gets it back, and then, of course, that's when he proceeds to whoop the crap out of Stacks and handcuff him up. And the match carries on. It's a pretty good match. I think Dijak's, his timing's just not there yet. In my opinion, I think Tony D had to kind of carry in a couple of spots, and it caused them to look a little awkward. But pretty good match, some big right hands, everything. And it's after that, though, the match is like you would expect it. You'll just have to go back and check it out. But there's a spine buster that's involved towards the end, and then Tony D ends up in the corner, and Stacks climbs up, and he says that I'll do whatever I can for your boss, and Tony's like, I'm not your boss, I'm your friend, your family. Or what, and then of course Dijak nails him upside his head, and that is the end of the match. So they're building some angle on this. I'm sure they are, but that's where it's kind of a strange ending, And you had Wesley over there doing commentary the whole time, so Dijak gets to do the stare down at Wesley, like, yeah, coming for the belt next week, man. Then after that, you go to Toxic. Has got a promo, and they're pretty much saying in this 20-woman battle royal that they will rule, and they will both be the winners at the end. What else are they going to say? And you go from there. You got the Creed brothers going against Veer and Sangha. And this is what we've been waiting on. The big guys to get in there and throw each other around, and the Creed brothers are up in there, and they're looking like the Steiner brothers, man. I mean, it's so remarkable, the story line, how they can tie that into it. And Braun's the champ, I'm sure that's just if Braun wasn't in there, maybe they'd do more with it. I don't know, but it is so remarkable, the exactness to this. They're not that close in age. Rick was a wrestler, of course. The dog-faced gremlin was a wrestler before, but when Scott came in, he looked like he was chiseled from granite. And so the Creed brothers are up in there, and Sunga comes out, and he's saying that, hey, Veer's not here. Veer's not here. But he says, that he'll take them on 2 for 1. And of course, they've been talking the honor and all this crap the last few weeks, and they want each other at full strength. So the Creed brothers are up in there like going, man, and you know where this line's going, so everything's just, you understand where this is heading. Boom! You got Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja, shows up, bald-headed, man, and he jumps on them, and they proceed to whoop the crap out of the Creed brothers. And it was the closest I've seen for a while in a wow moment. So it was pretty good. I think they got a couple little interviews they do in between there, but it's going to Pretty Deadly. They're setting up for their gauntlet match. And so Pretty Deadly comes out and lets them know they're going to run through this gauntlet of high caliber tag teams, and they bring out the first one, and it's the Rockers or the Rollers or I don't know, they should have called them the Jabronis, and they came out. Pretty Deadly has a quick match, and of course they're ready for the second one, and that's when New Day comes out. You boys, and they come out and they say no. So the first one, they got their own tag teams, and they figured that would happen. So the first ones they bring out are Anofi and Blade, and Anofi has a new look, which I like. Anything's better than what they had done with him. So I like the new action figure kind of look. So it's Anofi and Blade against Pretty Deadly, and a good match, man. About 7 minutes or so, 6 minutes or something like that, but a good match. And at one point in time, Anofi pulls his shirt up to where he's got like a crop top, kind of like Pretty Deadly, and they almost whoop him then, but ends up there's an inside cradle, and Anofi's got him, and Pretty Deadly, the other one pulls or pushes it over and allows Pretty Deadly to get the tag or get the pin, and that's after a big frog splash and everything by Anofi and Blade, and it was a good match. But then they bring out Briggs and Jensen. Yeah, we're about to throw down, down there in Florida, and here they come. Where they at? What? They're on the ground. They're on the ground. Somebody done whooped them. Who done? What? It's who done? Oh, it's Gallus. Their suspension is over, and it's Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and they come out and proceed to whoop the crap out of Pretty Deadly. They pick them up, they throw them around, they kick them upside the head, they slam them. They do the gauntlet on them, and the next thing you know, there's a pin, and Gallus wins. So Gallus gets to walk by New Day, you boys, and they do the stare down and saying, yeah, pretty much. Screw Pretty Deadly. We just jumped in line, and we are back, and we want a title shot. And from there, of course, it seems to be a reoccurring theme. you've got the Creed brothers in the training room, and Julius comes out with Ivy, and of course the camera catches them, and Julius does his best scripted. He's talking too fast. They script these poor kids to death, and I shouldn't say kids, but these performers to death. All right, so it's Ivy and Julius, and they have a disagreement, and Julius wants Jinder Mahal, the Marande Maharaji. So he's looking for HBK. Maybe a reoccurring theme. Now, I do not like the way. Apparently, they rented that damn coffee shop that Mello has been in. Apollo has been in. And this week they told Mello and Trick they could do one from there. So you got Mello writing in his journal. Trick shows up, changes the mood, makes the spot okay. He shows up in like a mask and just kind of changes the mood. But like I said, they must have rented that place, and they had so much time that they just started bringing people up, going, everybody, all right, you come up, you do your spot here, you write in a journal. We got a coffee shop promo for you, and we got a coffee shop promo for you. But anyway, it ended up being a little humorous, I guess you could say. Now, from the coffee shop, we go into the ball dropping like on New Year's. There again, hopefully the last reference. And they have really, really done it up for Miss Stratton. It's kind of surprise Tiffany Stratton. They're really putting all their cards in. They gave her the TV time. They gave her an entrance that was just amazing. And then they gave her a script to read. And at one point in time, she even looks like she didn't get it, or maybe she got thrown off and she had to remember where she was at in it. It was a real self-promoting, it was a real odd. It was just so scripted. I have to talk where it is. She's a pretty young lady. I'm sure she's good in the ring, and they're confident in her ability. But that was a strange and odd kind of a period of time when she was on there. I could make some other remarks, but we will not go there. So they've got a couple more little interviews or promos that come up from there, but they're leading up. Most of it is about Waller and Braun, but the main thing is they're leading up to the Waller, Grayson Waller versus Braun Breaker for the belt. When they go into that, look, Braun comes out and he looks real serious. And they do a little run around here for a couple minutes. But then Mr. Waller slaps Braun. And it's on. It's on like a pot of neck bones from then. You got belly to bellies and suplexes and all kinds of stuff. So they're just really, Waller's got some big hands, and man, at one point in time, he throws Braun into the turnbuckle, and it looked fabulous. And they exchange, and then the next freaking thing the rope breaks. Now, was this written? Is this in the script? Was it? I don't know. But I will say this, that while they came out to fix the rope, Waller, I thought especially, took the lead. And he really sold. He sold. This was, they're fixing the rope. There's a crew that comes out and starts putting, what it was where the rope goes into the turnbuckle. It broke. And, that could have been an easy, cut it, 3/4 of the way. Who knows? That's the reason we watch, folks. But they come out and they repair this, and the match is going on. So both guys do good, but Waller, as I said, I think he did really good during that to sell. They get out on the floor. There's some, because I guess the ropes would have been considered a wardrobe malfunction or whatever, but the crew just like reassembles it. Like they come out and there's some refs and some guys with some tools, and they come out and they've got parts. And because this does happen in matches, I've been to live matches where stuff is broke, and they either do a quick end or they just continue on like that. They go up into the crowd or something like that. So these guys did a great job, and the crew comes out, boom, fixes it. So all right, so now we're back into it, and there's after a few moves, a couple kicks, Grayson ends up to where he's going to put the Stunner Recliner, big pump pumps move on Braun, and of course he gets out of it, and Braun comes back, and he ends up towards the end. He does this bulldog, and I gotta say that was kind of a weak bulldog by him, but. Waller comes back with a big knee. And so he climbs up. He's getting ready to jump off and do it. The rope and the turnbuckle breaks again. And if I remember right, it's the other one on the other corner, opposite corner, same side, but opposite corner, if I remember right. So now we've got the ending to the match. Well, when Grayson went up to the second rope to do a jump off of it, that's when it broke. So he has a real awkward fall. And so that sells it to the fact that he can't get back up because of his fall. So the ref counts him out. So Braun's upset that he had to win like that. Waller's outside getting medical attention. A few minutes later, there's an announcement. So it's just an odd ending. The whole thing was just a little strange. So maybe it's a smaller version of the ring buckling when Big Show. Who knows? Who knows? But it was what it was. But yeah, the crowd was even hollering bullshit. So it was a bad end. I wasn't liking it. And then of course you come back with Roxanne Perez, little Debbie Snapcake girl, and she cuts a little promo about the 20 minute. It was real cute. And then you got Drew Gulak and Hank Walker doing their little spill. Of course, Drew's gonna help Hank out in this match upcoming. And they even do a Apollo and Axiom. Apollo now is not in the cafeteria that Mello was in. They kicked him out, so he's in the locker room, and Axiom comes up, and they strike up a conversation, and next thing you know, they're figuring that, hey, those two and Mello and Trick, two and two, yeah, tag team match. Hey, so we know what's upcoming, and that leads to Hank Walker and Charlie Dempsey. And in this match, and Hank in his boots. I know they want him to be awkward, and he's playing it very well. But Charlie Dempsey is an old school, European uppercuts, just a freaking. He's like Steven Regal back in the younger days if he didn't take all the Vicodin. It's a good match. Hank at one time gets a chance. You think that maybe Hank can pull it out. Oh, but Charlie's just a tough and rough old guy, and he gets in there. There's some stretching. Now, Hank actually gets like an armbar submission hold on him, and so you think that might, maybe Hank's gonna win. Yeah, no, but freaking Dempsey, Charlie Dempsey does a counter reverse and a roll through, and takes the armbar And he does another reverse after that. I mean, really, really good moves. Mat wrestling at its finest. So he eventually gets Hank Walker back over and ties him up in a pretzel and makes him his spine go away. It's not supposed to. And Hank is so close to the ropes. Well, it will cause a break, but he cannot and has to tap. And of course that means Charlie wins this match. And he's kind of looking at Drew like, next week, maybe Drew. So maybe next week we see that match. Maybe. I think so. All right, and you've got Solo, and Alba Fire doing the little. Alba says, "You want a match?" And she's like, "Well, and she's like, "You want a match?" And she's like, "Well, and then Alba's like, "Damn it, do you want a match?" So that's going to be next week. Kind of an odd little promo. And then they got Mr. Tyler Bate. He apparently is getting ready to come back. The big strong boy. And they do a kind of a nice little promo on him, But then after that, they've got scripted dropping stuff off in people's locker room. Just. All right, he wasn't flipping; he was just dropping notes. But now they've got Baldhead. I mean, they've got Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja. He's going to come back out, and he and Julius are going to have at it. Now, these are some big guys, and both of these guys can throw each other. Now, Jinder is what Jinder is. We've seen him now with the big bald head. We know what to expect from him. He doesn't show us anything really new other than his scalp. And he really kind of needs, I think, he needs NXT. Maybe he needs a rebranding, or he needs a new identity or something. Maybe they can put him with these guys with Veer and Sangha and come up with something. But Julius is doing his regular Julius stuff. He gets whooped on most of it, but he's got a couple weak moves in this. He doesn't look good, but he's able to pick up and throw, and man, he's got some big suplexes. Man, this guy is just he will get it. They will get it figured out for sure. But at one point in time, he gets his mouth busted open, so he's able to look a little, tattered and torn. The whole match is it's okay because it is Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaj, but. Julius is apparently going to try to make the ending or his finishing move. Takes a long time to climb to the top rope, which big guys do not do good on the top rope. And, of course, he gets caught. And next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom, Jinder wins. So from there, they're going to go to Briggs and Jensen and Valen and Katrina. Katana, whatever. God, she's hanging out with Jensen, and Brooks and Jensen are saying they're tired of getting jumped from behind, and maybe the ladies can get along. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But then they're going to go straight into the 20-woman #1 contender battle royal. And this actually wasn't so bad. Now, they do a quick little promo just before, because they like have Cora Jade come out. She's the first in. And and they do this little promo about a podcaster, possibly, or I don't know, a Web3 individual. I'm not sure, Stevie Turner. And she's coming back and going to gift us with her presence. So, hey, we'll look for her in the future. But as I said, Cora Jade was the first in, and then they come back, and Zoe Stark is the last in. So the match starts, and they're throwing down, and Cora Jade is the first out. Yep. That's what I said. They take the one of their highlights, and they throw her out in the ring. Well, why do they do that? What? that she gets no TV time or whatever. I just don't understand that, right? Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. But the match is good. And at one point in time, Miss James and Fallon, actually Fallon is getting ready to be thrown out, and Miss James saves her. So maybe that is something in the future. And then Miss Solo Recall gets thrown out, and of course she's got the athletic gymnastic background, and she lands on her hands because it's over the top rope. Both feet hit the ground deal. And she lands on her hands and walks all the way around the ring and climbs back under the bottom rope. Now, a lot of times that looks cheesy, but she did it pretty good. And she looked so honest at the end. She looked like, yeah, it worked. We wrote this up and it worked. So she slides back over, and she ends up being the fifth woman left. So that means that she had to get taken out, and it comes down to Toxic Attraction and the ladies, and Toxic wins this thing. All right, and they had predicted they were. It was Valricio or whatever, the new girl that they've been promoting, and of course Cora Jade. She ran back in once and got thrown right back out. And then towards the end, she causes, that's what it was, she caused the last lady to be knocked out, which led to the final four. And Victoria, whatever it is, Toxic ends up winning this thing. And it's the way they did the ending. Both Toxic are like, they predicted they were going to win, and so they're standing there going, no, you go, no, and you win, and I win, and then the ladies do the turn. They go down through there. They take it down through there, so they start throwing down with each other. So they're beating the crap out of each other on the top turnbuckle, and they both fall, and so it's like a photo finish. So the refs, there's 4 refs there, 3 on one side, 1 on the other. So they have to go to the teleprompter or go to the monitor, and they determine that both ladies hit the mat at the same time. So therein lies the strange ending that both are number 1 contenders. So I'm sure that's going to lead to some really, really interesting matches upcoming. But then, of course, they have to have the champ come out and do her little stance with the belt and like, yeah, I see you. You're next or whatever. But man, Roxanne is just so polite. She even comes out to try to look intimidating, and it's just like, pass out moon pies to everybody. This is a great time. I don't know. She's such a nice young deal. Now they do come back out with HBK. Now HBK comes out, and he's got Mr. Waller, and he's got Braun sitting in there. Of course, they agree that they don't want the match to end this way. So what can they do to rectify this situation? What are they going to do? And Shawn Michaels, at HBK looks, he's got the cowboy hat on and a suit and everything. He looks a lot better than I've seen him in the last one. Getting a little worried about old HBK. But no, he looked mighty dapper, and he pretty much says that the February 4th premium event is going to be a steel cage match for the championship. So, and of course, the guys are going to argue, and that's how they end up with the show going off air. So, all in all, the show wasn't that bad. We got to see a handstand and a walk. We got to see some ring ropes break. We saw a forming of maybe a couple of ladies that have been at each other's ends. So who knows where they're going with all of this? stuff that they can put together. They got a gumbo. They've got their roux together for the year. Now let's see what kind of ingredients they add to it as we go along. All right, well, guys, I guess that's going to be the end of it. Yes, I've looked at everything, and it officially says leave. All right, so we will go from here. But as always, if you can, rescue and, of course, spay and neuter. And, guys, this is Memphis Mark. And, of course, you know, I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.